Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Mike here, and welcome to the next lesson in our D programming language series. In today's lesson, we're going to continue looking at some tools that are going to be useful in the D ecosystem, and this one has to do with formatting your D code. So with that said, let's go ahead to resources, and we'll go down into tools here. This is where you'll find, well, a great list of the tools available and maybe others in the future. But today we're going to want to look at the source code section here. Let's go ahead and click on that, and you'll see dformat. Now, it looks like there's some other tools here, but I'm most familiar with dformat, so that's what we're going to look at. And dformat here is a source formatter here for D code specifically. It says it's here in beta quality. I know some folks do use this in production. And oftentimes I've actually found that some tools that work for C and C++, like indent or some of these like standard Unix tools, also work on D source files. But we're going to want one that works with the D ecosystem here. So that's dformat. Now, the good news is we can actually just run this with dub here, which most folks should have installed if they've installed the DMD compiler, for instance. If you don't have this, you can go to the dub Dlang webpage, and then you'll go ahead and install this. But let's go ahead and just do a little example here about what dformat looks like. And I've got some code from our previous example, but we'll get to that in a moment here. Let's just go ahead and run the help here. Now, it does say that in this case, I don't have it. So if this is the first time that you're running here, you'll want to fetch this package. So let's go ahead and say yes, and just give that a moment to find that package and get it all set up here. Now, this is using libdparse, which is a useful library in the D ecosystem. So I was able to catch that. And then we can see it's already installed here. Okay, so let's just rerun that command here. Once we've got the tool once, we won't need to re-download it anymore. And here it is here. So we've got our options for help, editing in place, meaning that as soon as I run this on a file, it'll actually change and update on the version and so on. And then here's some of the several formatting options that are available. Things like indentation, how wide your code is, where you put spaces, before or after things. And again, this is a pretty good list, pretty good start here for your code base. Because the important thing is you want to be able to sort of look at code and not necessarily, if you're on a team, know if you wrote it or someone else. You just want to be able to read the code and add to it and have a uniform style. That's usually the case in teams that I've been on. So again, this could be a tool that helps push you in that direction. So with that said, let's just go ahead and play around with this a little bit. Going off of some of the defaults here. And I've already installed this, but you can, of course, build it with make or from this repository. And again, build it with dub. But let's go ahead and see how to use this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use their default here, which means that we're editing things in place here, which means as soon as I run this, this is going to change the actual file. Okay, so that's something that you want to keep in mind here. But again, that's probably how I want to set things up. But we've got a nice sample command here. So it looks like I'm going to edit in place. Spaces after casts I'll get rid of, so everything will be nice and compact. These are some of the standard things we care about. Max line length 80 characters, so you can pick that. Soft max line length 70, and the braces style here. Let's see, OTBS here. Let's see if we've got some documentation for the braces style here. We can see some documentation below. We've got almond style, strusep, or KNR here. Okay, so again, these are going to be some common things that you might want to play around with. Maybe we'll play around with that one a little bit here, just so you can see how this works here. But let's go ahead and copy this line here. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy it out here. And again, let's go ahead and take a look at this file here in the main here. We might be able to see it run in real time here if I actually run this on the file here. Let me try to put this on one line here. Let's see here. Yeah, I want it to kind of crash here. Now I just copy and pasted that from the GitHub, which had dformat. But remember how we were running this, right? With dub run dformat here. Okay, so in place, space after, and we've got our brace style. And since I'm using this in place, I need to specify a file, which is just going to be main.d here. Okay, so that's the full command I'm running, just the default one. But again, I'm running this from dub. So if you built it from make, you'll have a binary. Or if you clone the repository, you should be able to run it here. Now let's go ahead and run this. We should see if Vim updates with this change here, any changes here. So go ahead and run it here. And oops, looks like I got an unknown command line flag. In place, space, what else did I get? Type deb run -h to get a full list of supported flags here. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if I can capture what I actually did wrong here. And again, this is always the thing with copy and paste here that might throw you off here, right? If I'm just running dformat, this is going to be fine. If I'm running this from dub, which I tend to do here, I need to make sure that I put, dash dash after here, because this is the dub part. And then these are going to be the arguments that I pass into dformat, the things that pass in after. Okay, so that's just something a little bit different. I like doing this with dub run just so you can get up and running relatively fast here. Okay, so it looks like this changed. Let's see if it made any noticeable changes here. Now, nothing that I observed immediately, so I might have to kind of just mess this file up a little bit here, like make the columns really long or something. Let's see if we can save that. Oh, it says the file has been changed since reading it. Do I want to write to it? No. Press enter. And let's reopen it here. Let's see if it changed anything here. We might have to just quit here. Have to think about a good way to do that. Well, let's see. Do we observe any changes here? Well, we do have a cast here with no space after it, so maybe that changed. Probably the easiest thing to do here is just going to be to change the style here. Let's use K&R style on the braces. I'll hit enter. So change this in place, and let's just reload the file in Vim. And there we go. Okay, so I saw a little bit of a change there with the braces style here. Let's see. Let's go back to the brace style that we had, OTBS here. And let me clear this window just so it's a little bit more clear. I'll do that. And let's just pay attention to the braces, see if it changes, and it does here. Okay, so simple enough little tool that you can use here. Again, if this is something that, again, you particularly pay attention to, which I do. I mean, I end up doing this manually. It's nice if you can just run this dub format tool. Now, let's play around with this just a little bit more here. The other thing that you can do, and I'll show you from the GitHub, is sometimes you do have carefully crafted code here. So you can turn the formatting off with just comments and dformat off and dformat on. So let's just go ahead and say, for whatever reason, this particular struct is important. And, we don't want to mess with this particular indentation here, which looks like we left off on the OTBS style here. So let's go ahead and, I don't know, switch this back to K&R style. Okay, so it ran. Let's go ahead and reopen this file. Well, looks like we got a little bit of change here. I mean, that we could observe right away with this main here. Let me go ahead and switch this back to the other style here, OTBS. Clear the screen just so you can see here. And reload the file. And again, you can see things moving around. Let's do something just a little bit wackier. Let's say the max, soft max line length is like 10. Max line length is 20, just to like really mess up this code here. So I'll go ahead and run that here, re-edit this. And again, that's a little bit more of an obvious shift that you can see. Right, and this is probably the kind of thing I should do for my videos or something to make sure the width fits in the screen. But again, the point being that I was able to turn off the formatting here for this struct, and you don't have to worry about it if you do carefully craft some code. I like turning this off and on, for instance. It shouldn't mess with things, but let's say I draw a really nice ASCII diagram or something here. I put in this big, set of comments here, this sort of big comment block, and maybe I'm like drawing some sort of diagram here with, different features that are meaningful, and you just don't want to mess with it. Again, that would be a reason to use these format blocks here. Okay. All right, so with that said, I think that's really all there is about to say dformat, at least for getting started. There's lots of interesting configuration options. Again, if you have or want to go more in depth into some of the settings, so you can see some of the different things that you can change, some of the different properties here. It's a pretty well documented tool here. And again, I know folks in the D community who use it. All right, so with that said, folks, I hope you found that to be a useful video. We've been diving into some tools to, again, improve your experience using the D programming language. I think dformat's a nice one that you could add in your continuous integration or just run on your code before you check it into your GitHub repository. All right, folks, with that said, as always, thank you for your time and attention. This lesson, like all others, is posted with the D programming language series here, which is available for free if you want to track your progress, so make sure to check that out. All right, folks, I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one, and thank you again for your time and attention in this video. See you soon.